Hello, and welcome to the second episode of Carnival Personnel.
The last episode.
Well, they said with the first one, they, being us, that this was going to be the twofold. It was going to be our first and last one, but somehow we haven't been banned from the internet yet.
We have to complete the trilogy.
So this is our congratulations on making it to episode number 2, Joe.
Oh, man, that's Attack of the Clones. That's the worst one.
Take a skate around. For those of you who might have missed the long-winded intro in the first one, Joe and myself, Jacques, longtime comedy collaborators, we think we're funny. If you find us offensive or don't like our jokes, A, go fuck yourself, B, I don't care. But
I care.
You care. But literally, we're a couple of comedy wannabe people who going to spend the next probably hour-ish talking about top politics, a.k.a. whining about Trump, because that's what liberals do. We're liberals. Talking about sports, the New England Patriots. Yeah. Movies, Joe's random old video game review of the week.
A classic, a staple, if you will, of the CP podcast. Carnival Personnel. That is the name of our show.
We've done it on every episode, so it's kind of a big tradition.
We're batting 1,000.
But might be a parenting tip, pub culture, which we're old married guys with kids. Pub culture is
right. Yeah, is Family Ties still on the air? How is that, Michael J. Fox?
Maybe some movie. His career is a little shaky right now. And the silence is deafening. We're trying not to use certain words that are stable in our vocabulary. So if you hear long pauses, it's because we want to call each other names that we've been suggested greatly to not use if we want, friends and family, the friends and family sponsorships. Speaking of sponsorships, who's sponsoring us this week, Joseph?
That would be the good people of Squatty Potty.
Oh, Squatty Potties. I believe we have a celebrity.
Well, we were going to get Kathy Griffin, but then, oops!
Too soon?
No, it's not. I mean, she screwed up. And so Squatty Potty decided to drop her upcoming campaign because she was going to be the spokesperson for that wonderful product. But instead...
Who'd they get?
Well, here he comes right now.
Oh, my gosh.
Hello. This is Kathy Griffin. No, I'm just, that was a joke. I'm Senator Bernie Sanders. And I'm here to talk about Squatty Potty. Did you know that 99% of our country's population suffers from insufficient bowel evacuation, while the top 1% live with luxurious bathroom accommodations like those toilets that hose off your backside for you? The average American today barely squeezes out a decent loaf, let alone a decent living. We cannot just sit by and let this happen, especially when we are not even sitting properly when dropping the kids off at the pool. That is why I am here to inform you and your listeners of an amazing, revolutionary product for their porcelain thrones. Squatty Potty is a companion for your toilet that allows you to position yourself for optimal defecalization. Do not think of it so much as a footrest, but more of a colon rest. Did you know that in countries like India, people have been squatting for centuries, albeit into filthy holes in the ground? Though those holes may be filthy, as well as their water supply and many other things, let's be honest, what are not filthy are their rectums. Rectum? I hardly knew the person. Because they know squat, so should your listeners. So I encourage everyone within the sound of my voice to learn to sit Indian style. Not the bad kind of Indian style that I learned growing up and we can't say anymore, but the right way, the Squatty Potty way. Feel the burn, but not from leaving a dump. Thank you.
Wow, we've only been on the air.
My God.
For 2 episodes.
Where did he go?
And not only
he literally evaporated.
Do we get a grade A sponsor like Squatty Potty? We get the fine senior senator the country senator, really, from the great state of Vermont. That's fantastic. What a great get, Joe.
That was a get, and I think I don't think he asked for any money, which was, very Bernie of him. Like,
very Bernie.
Yeah, very Bernie. So thank you, Senator Sanders, and thank you, Squatty Potty, for potentially sponsoring the podcast.
We wouldn't have ever been able to get Kathy Griffin.
No.
So while we're on the subject of Kathy Griffin, again, where this is kind of a show put together by a couple, comedy hacks, we would like to address the First Amendment rights of Kathy Griffin to her right to be absolutely unfunny. And that was the worst part of the whole thing, is it just wasn't funny.
No.
And I don't know if it was shock art or anything like that. There's one debate you could have. It's like the First Amendment right to do it, and a lot of people on the right being all upset. It's like, the funny meme that went around from Donald Trump, like supporting Ted Nugent when he was, advocating like horrible things to be done to Obama, but Trump
just
was
crossing, and then but the meme was that you just cross out Obama and put Trump, and you cross out Ted Nugent and put Kathy Griffin.
Right, and it's okay with some. It's not okay to do either way, just because for the biggest thing, it wasn't as offensive as it was just offensive to comedy.
Yeah,
but I've never thought she was that funny anyway. So,
the earlier stuff was pretty.
It was the middle of the road, but literally, here's a person, a self-proclaimed D-lister who gets headlines around the world. She loses a sponsor, but I bet she's got like 1 billion more Twitter followers now because of doing it. So
yeah, but did you see her apology though? She went up and did a press conference where she apologized and didn't mean to offend anybody. It was very tear-filled and probably very heartfelt. But man, what a mistake!
The mistake to apologize.
Yeah, because, actually, to reference another great podcast, the Titus podcast with Christopher Titus, he mentioned this on his latest podcast, was that as a comedian, you probably, for the most part, should not apologize for your art,
right? For
your work, and because going forward, how can anybody take you seriously? Because you're just if you step even just an inch over the line, people are going to question your integrity, or like, does she really mean that, or what is she going for? Do you know what I mean?
Well, right, because like I was just saying, she got a press conference. If she had a press conference the day before, who would show up? Somebody from the Huffington Post, and maybe
a certain company called Squatty Potty.
Right. No, but you don't apologize. So, over the rest of this particular podcast and ones in the future, when I make my outrageous Portuguese jokes, which,
All right. Goodbye.
There's Joe walking back to Portugal.
That was a door slam.
He's leaving a dump. But no, I'm not going to apologize for my Portuguese jokes, Joe. I'm telling you right now. I'm not going to do it. And I'm not going to cry when I do it.
And nobody, unfortunately, is going to get your Portuguese jokes. Because we're very plain people.
Very, very plain. Do you got a good Portuguese joke?
What do you call a Portuguese person with herpes?
I don't know. What do you call a Portuguese person with herpes?
Manny Sores.
Ah!
I would like to apologize for
he's crying. He's crying.
I want to apologize for any herpes that may be offended by that joke. I didn't mean to associate you with the Portuguese.
I see what he's done there. He set you up to knock you down. Last week, we started a segment. First of all, last week every segment we did was the start of a segment where it was the first episode.
Yeah.
So on one of the first episode segment beginnings was next week's news today.
Next week's headline.
Right.
And thanks for reading the notes.
And
so thoroughly.
I don't have. And you said
you can't read.
Who
are you, Kathy Griffin? That was a good Kathy Griffin impression.
Thank you. And now here's my Kennedy. Thank you. Good night. Now do Bobby Kennedy. So I think my headline was about Comey, which I was a week behind or a week ahead because that comes down this week. And what was do you remember what your?
Mine was that Greg Gianforte, the congressman who just won the lone seat in Montana for the House of Representatives, who was charged for assaulting a reporter from The Guardian by literally grabbing him by the neck and body slamming him after he asked a question he didn't like and didn't want to answer to. I predicted that the charges would be dropped, and actually I haven't heard a damn thing about it, which is pretty much going to be par for the course for anything that happens to a Republican in the next 4 years. Right. Something will happen, it'll go away, move on to the next one.
Well, that's the thing. When Trump, during campaigning, literally had, his campaign manager at the time manhandle a female reporter, and mobs of people, were, pretty much pressing in on the media section, and he said, "Oh, I'll pay your legal fees. Don't worry about it. Do what you want. I'll pay your legal fees." And there was a couple times that Secret Security, had to escort press out, not because he wanted them thrown out, because of their own safety. So, I mean, it's a little scary that, again, I said this last week, while that side, presses on to make sure that every white man, woman, and children has a gun to protect themselves, they don't want to protect, free speech or the news, the lying media.
They don't want to protect their free speech. They want to protect their own. I mean, they want to protect their own free speech, but not the free speech of anybody that's opposed to their ideals.
Yeah, I mean, and look, I'm. There's so many people out there I never want to hear from again, but I respect and would fight for their right for free speech, and I think everybody has the right to kefefe.
That's that word that Trump tweeted when he meant to write coverage.
Kefefe. Did he fall asleep? Did he pass out? Did he?
It was written at midnight, so he probably, He
OD'd on chocolate cake, which was the greatest chocolate cake ever.
Amazing. This chocolate cake would blow your mind.
So
it was made from 100% covfefe.
So what's next week's headline for you?
Mine is that Trump will lift child labor ban laws to increase coal mining jobs.
Make America great again.
I don't think I can top that.
That impersonation or
either or. I don't think I could sound that douchey. Now everybody listening to this is saying, "Oh, you can." In fact, right now you sound more douchey than you can possibly imagine. So thank you for that, Mom. But like the joke, there's my mother. She's dead.
Oh my God! When she hears this,
in heaven with the angels,
she doesn't know what a podcast is anyway.
But my headline, I gotta try to think the right way to phrase this. So Comey has been loved and hated by everybody. When he pressed ahead with the email things, everybody on the Dems hated him. When she basically cleared her, all the Republicans hated him. And then when 11 days before the election, he decided, I don't know if he got a call directly from Putin or somebody says, reopen that investigation and make this a big headline story, because Trump just got his ass handed to him in the debate and walked around creepy and was just couldn't stop grabbing female body parts. They released emails. All the Dems hated him, and we hated him right up until he, started turning the heat up on Russia. Then he gets fired for that, and everybody's like, oh, he was closing in, and all the Dems are supporting him for standing up and being great at the testimony. Then he gets fired. Republicans hate him, but the Dems love him. But then it comes out that part of his decision came from what he knew was fake news from Russia himself. So which Comey shows up this Thursday to testify is going to be. So my headline for this week will be
next week.
For next week will be that the Comey spins like a dreidel, and
I find that offensive, Mr. Sanders, Senator Sanders. And there he goes.
And there he goes. Oh, I think he's going upstairs to leave him down.
But he's going to spin and what?
And I'm not sure what side he's going to land on, but I think he is going to be once again. I was going to say loved by the Democrats, but he will be praised by the Democrats. Still, no one's going to get over,
The Hillary thing.
the Hillary thing. I mean, let's face it. No one's going to get over the Hillary. Nobody's going to get over February 3rd, 2008, when Eli Manning was definitely in the grass. The play should have been called dead. Tariq comes down with a catch of a lifetime, not his lifetime, anybody's lifetime. Ty Law was all over him like, a Hello Kitty backpack. So we won't get over that. We won't get over of this.
Speaking of the Patriots, though.
Speaking of the Patriots.
No, you were speaking of the Patriots?
But that's my head. Okay, all right. If we want to get off politics.
Please.
And move on to sports.
Please.
Patriots.
Yeah.
Because let's face it,
right.
we know.
Because it's June and everybody's talking Patriots.
Everybody, they should be. Well, no, so the funny thing was, the Patriots were sort of in the news, like, this week. There was a big thing that came out a couple months ago that Tom Brady, who is the face and spokesperson for, is it Little Buddy? Like the Little Buddy charity.
Oh, right.
Since 2011, he has them donate, I think it's 20% of what they give in to his charities in the globe, because the town of Boston doesn't like anything more than pulling apart its own, its own hero. Like, literally, it's one of the reasons, like, you hear athletes from other cities and stuff like that are just, don't want to come here because they get, pretty much pulled apart by, even when you're the great Tom Brady. Anyways, they were saying that since 2011, he's been the spokesperson since 2007, but in 2011, he has them for 20% of what they make, something like that. Maybe it's 15 to 20% to his personal charities.
Yeah.
And it's not to the Tom Brady offshore Cayman account.
Right.
It's to legitimate charities. But people are upset because, a lot of his charities are like his kid's private school, like, he's in Michigan State. He has some personal charities. Then everybody who's played in the NFL has a charity, whether it's he played on his team for a year or 5 years. Everybody has their own thing. So
and some of the teams, to be honest, are themselves charities.
Well, 90% of people in sports are broke within 5 years coming out. So yeah, they're charity cases. But he does. He has money donated to other charities in his name. And so some of the people who are like really self-righteous is like, well, how much of a great philanthropist is he if the donations he's really making to these charities are coming from Big Buddies or something like that? And the thing is, like, the Big Buddies people basically said, look, if Tom is our face and Tom, hosts our big annual like function, stuff like that, we make $10. If he's not here, we make $2. So
right.
If out of the $8 we make because he's here, one of those dollars, or two of those dollars go to other charities, not to him, go to other charities, we're okay with that because we still net out like, so much more than we would ever make if he wasn't part of this.
Yeah, the ends justify the means.
So we win, and of course it's completely legal. It's not like a tax dodge or anything like that. He doesn't charge for his time, but, well, in a sense he does, but he has the money go to other charities. So that was this week's Patriot news is, people have to find something to complain about it. And look, he makes X amount of money playing quarterback. His wife makes 3 times as much money as she does just for waking up in the morning. Why does he, have to take any of that? It's like, well, he can only give so much. I'm not gonna.
I know, right?
Argue on his behalf.
Yeah, exactly. What are you, the Sean Spicer of Tom Brady?
Right, exactly. I'm gonna go hide in these bushes over here. And while I'm hiding in these bushes, I hope Trump doesn't grab me. See, because Bush can also mean sting.
I find that offensive. Mr. Sanders, please.
Seriously, we've already told you at the beginning, we're bad comics, Mr. Sanders. And if you're offended by us, good, then we're doing our job.
Please, yes.
We're supposed to, if you're offended, we're doing our job. If you're not offended, well, we'll try harder. Yeah. we'll try a lot harder. So hey, keep the love letters coming.
Keep circulating the tapes. What's next on the agenda?
The agenda. Let's see. Movies.
Yeah.
A lot of big movies coming out. A lot of big blockbusters out there.
Exactly. Most of them we won't be able to see because we can't afford to.
Well, it not only can, it's not just an afford to and having time. I cannot wait to see Wonder Woman. We'll give our Wonder Woman review, spoiler free, because we haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But luckily, I'm probably going to also be able to give a review on Captain Underpants.
Oh.
And whatever, like, you know, because I have a 9 and 7-year-old who do want to see Wonder Woman, but oh my God, the crap that's out that I'm going to have to not only have to sit through, but pay to sit through.
Yeah.
Wimpy Kid. There's a new Wimpy Kid.
Oh, right. And it's not even like the original cast, which I liked the first movie or two of Wimpy Kid. I myself have 2 young children, and they grew up reading the books. And, you know, the movies were kind of B- quality, but they were funny and tolerable. But this one looks like, you know, I don't know. It doesn't have the same heart as the originals.
So my boys got into it a little later, so we got the first 2 a little while ago, and I watched them. And I agree, they were B movies, they were okay, but you know, just I'm judging a book by the cover. So I thought the main kid was going to be like a wimpy kid who got picked on and kind of stuff like that.
No, he's a dick.
He was a real douche.
Yeah, he's a dick.
Like I literally thought he was going to be like the victim, and this is how he struggled through junior high with bullies and his older brother and stuff like that. And his older brother was a piece of work, but he was just a complete douche.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, well, I think Diary of a Douchey Kid probably wouldn't sell as many books. Why do they call them Happy Meals? Because if they called them Sad Meals, none of the kids would buy them. Narf.
No. But saying on Wimpy Kids, we'll get back to the Happy Meal thing in a second. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to see that. I'm gonna have to see Captain Underpants.
Weird Al Yankovic does the theme song to Captain Underpants, so that's probably the only reason why I'd want to see Captain Underpants.
So I don't know why we don't have a Weird Al podcast, except for the fact that you'd have to host it alone. You'd be your only guest, but it would be fascinating for those of you who don't know Joe. To know Joe is to love Joe. To love Joe is to know that, oh God, what was it? Like 96, Joe and I drove across country.
97.
In 97. And truly, he brought with him, I think, like 12 cassette tapes.
What's a cassette tape? You may ask, millennial.
It was literally 11 of the 12, I want to say, were Weird Al, and then one of them was a what do you call it? I'll shoot this dog. Buy this thing.
Oh, National Lampoon
Radio Hour, which was a half-hour radio show, which literally was brilliant.
Well, it's like Ben Folds 5 has 3 members in it, or had 3 members in it.
So honestly, I think Joe should write, if he hasn't already written, not the suicide note, the
how do you know about
the autobiography or the biography of Weird Al. I think you know more things about Weird Al than Weird Al knows about Weird Al. Because Joe will be like, oh, just like now, oh, he did the theme song for Captain Underpants.
Well, you know, when you follow a person on Twitter, you know, you learn things about a person. You learn what they're plugging. And by the way, Weird Al Yankovic this year is coming out with the definitive compilation, I guess is what you'd call it. It's called the Squeeze Box. It's like a CD and vinyl set that's shaped like an accordion. So you open it up and I think he's repressing all of his like original studio albums on vinyl and CD. And he's also releasing a best of the greatest, actually not a greatest hits, but it's called Medium Rarities. It's like all the little bits of songs that, like, he did like Epic Rap Battle once as Sir Isaac Newton. Mm-hmm. Like those kinds of one-off songs like are all compiled onto this one disc. So I would be more than happy to get that for whether it be Father's Day or Grandfather's Day or my birthday. I would love for a spouse of mine to maybe dip into our vast bank account and pay for one of these quality products.
So first of all, I would like to apologize for setting Joe off. I love Weird Al. Which do you think is more likely, that you will get that box set or that your wife will listen to this podcast? which is more likely to happen?
I think me sleeping with Weird Al is more likely to happen
than but it is funny because, like, you know, like Weird Al, as much as you may or may not want to, rank on him, I think the best endorsement that I've ever heard from Weird Al was from Dave Grohl when he was saying when he heard "Smells Like Nirvana" that he knew they made it. Like they were doing they were either flying to Brazil to do like their first big stadium thing. They were part of a big festival down there, and either on the way down there or on the way back, he had heard it, and he was like, he does Madonna songs. He does Michael Jackson songs. Like, if we're big enough for Weird Al to be doing it, we must have made it. That's when Dave Grohl said he knew that they made it.
Thank God he didn't know that he also covered Gerardo, who did Rico Suave back in the 90s. So he covers all the gamuts of the entire spectrum of musical talent is not safe from the slings and arrows of one Weird Alfred Yankovic.
The best, and the funny thing is, he's been one of those guys who's been ahead of the curve on using media, on using the internet for different things. And I remember when he released that album in the song All About the Pentiums, which is my favorite Weird Al song.
It's not Canadian Idiot? Ooh, yeah. Sophie's choice. I'm offended by that. Damn it, Senator Sanders. Choking on my own rage here. Go on.
I'm choking on it.
Shaq's giving me the wrap it up sign.
No,
but
I was giving you the keep going. I'm dying on an M&M sign.
Wipe that chocolate off you.
You blow a seal? No, just a little ice cream.
Oh man.
Google the punchline. Probably worth the Google.
Yeah. What the hell were we talking about? Weird Al?
My favorite songs from Weird Al.
It's all about the Pentiums.
Yeah, I'm going to have to... Okay, I would say Canadian Idiot. Except as we're driving across country and Joe is singing the song to me as I'm driving, and it has a line, "If I ever meet you, I'll Control-Alt-Delete you." And as he's doing it with his left hand, he specifically presses the Control with his pinky, then his thumb on the Alt button, and then
index finger on delete.
And he didn't lose eye contact. He's like, Control-Alt-Delete. If I had swerved into oncoming traffic and died, I would have died happy because I wouldn't have ever seen anything in time funnier than that. So, and I've seen old ladies push down flights of steps in wheelchairs. So
You've seen Gallagher in person.
I know. I've seen Gallagher's brother doing Gallagher's routine in person, which is a weird thing. But yeah, So this Weird Al podcast has been brought to you by the fine guys at Dollar Shave Club. Joe, I can't say enough about the guys at Dollar Shave Club, because if there's one thing I hate more than shaving is paying a lot. Because, let's face it, every morning when I look in the mirror and think, oh, I'll shave tomorrow because it hasn't been 3 weeks yet.
Yeah.
But then I think all the money I'm going to have to spend on the razor when I finally do shave.
Yes.
And now I don't have to worry about that
because
the Dollar Shave Club, the guys decided, let's cut out the middleman.
Right.
Let's not
cut out. Get it
because of the razors involved. But seriously, and they bought the factory where they did it. They are selective in their demographic marketing, so they reach out to people like us because of our wide listenership. But I can tell you, nobody has a taint shaving razor better than the guys at the Dollar Shave Club, and the price is right.
Yeah, great game show, by the way. I can't. You said Price is Right.
Oh, it is a great game show. Oh,
yeah. So thank you, Dollar Shave Club, for pretending to sponsor our podcast. We have to make clear that
No, we don't have to make clear.
Oh,
the worst thing that they can do is send us and Senator Sanders a cease and desist order.
I'd like to see them try.
Nothing would make me happier than to find out we get a phone call from Senator Sanders' office. Hey, Senator Sanders just got a cease and desist from the Squatty Potty people.
Yeah.
But back to the movie review. So what I can tell you about the Wonder Woman movie is the trailer looks great.
Yep.
I can't wait to see it.
It got like 96% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I wanted to go, but it was a woman-only screening, so, I got out my man pond and started to protest because of the sexism. No, that's,
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they're going, like the only thing more absurd than that. The only thing more absurd than that is what's that guy? The guy from The Apprentice. What's his name? Oh yeah, our president.
Yeah, becoming president.
He's becoming president. That's the
Yeah.
only like when you have to go that.
I thought
way.
you were going to say an Aquaman movie, but
No, that's coming.
I know that's why it was made.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
And he's not making a sarcastic winking motion
no,
towards
no.
me.
I think it takes place in Ohio.
Oh, because of there's no landlocked. Oh my goodness!
Because
It's round and what is it? It's high in the middle and round at both ends. Ohio.
Oh, see what he's done there.
Yeah, I pulled out a joke from a Bugs Bunny cartoon I saw.
Oh, covfefe.
Yeah. Oh man. So yeah, Wonder Woman. I'm sure it's very nice. We'll see it. Maybe by the 8th podcast, we'll review Wonder Woman for real.
So the last podcast, I almost said the last two, but we did a test run that was so bad to even put out.
Too hot for the internet.
We couldn't stop saying certain words that make people upset.
It would make Donald Trump blush.
That we know. Yeah.
And you can't really tell when that man blushes because he's so damn orange.
So what was so last week's review was it Nintendo, the second generation Nintendo?
No, oh, you're talking about the video game review?
The video game.
So you went to the Nintendo Entertainment System, which was essentially the first generation for Nintendo, the 8-bit generation. And you pull off the cartridge of the seminal classic WWF WrestleMania's Challenge, where we basically, paid tribute to 17 dead wrestlers.
Hulk Hogan was on the front. He's alive.
You're right.
But then on the back, there were 5 wrestlers all doing the dirt now.
Yeah. Trump. I was going to say Hulk Hogan pushed himself to the front of the line like Trump did. So I guess this is the random video game review of the week.
So let's see. Where should I pull games from this week?
That's my Press Your Luck theme, the big board. All right. So he's going to go over to a shelf. He could go from either the 8-bit generation or the 16-bit generation of Sega Genesis, or he could go to the PlayStation 2. He could go... you know what? If he goes anything above Nintendo or Sega, I probably haven't played it in a while. All right, so he just pulled something off the shelf. I don't know. I'm not even looking at him. I'm not looking in his general.
Now you can look, and you want to guess what the game. You want to guess based on the space in the wall.
So he just pulled a game from the PlayStation 2 collection, and I believe he went for Metal Gear Solid 3.
Oh my goodness!
Well, I don't have a vast PlayStation 2 collection. I kind of know what I have. I haven't played it. Metal Gear Solid 3, great game. Haven't played it. That was our retro video game review of the week.
Last week was the same thing. I pulled a video off the shelf.
You go to the Nintendo shelf.
Okay,
Fuck
go to the
this.
Nintendo shelf.
Yeah,
All right.
PlayStation 2 I collect for, and I'm meaning to get around to all of this. So he's going to the shelf of the classic Nintendo Entertainment selection of 250 cartridges. I have a problem. And he's going to hand me a cartridge right now. He pulled it from the the 5th row. And it's, I can't see that. I think it's in the R's. It's not... this one will stump me. I'm going to say RC Pro-Am. I don't know.
It did not stump
Oh my
me, sir.
God.
It did not stump. When you say R, when you said it, pulled it from the R's, I'm looking at the big letters. It says Pro-Am, but at the top it's like RC. Oh my
Radio
goodness.
controlled professional amateur. 32 tracks of racing thrills. This, to people of a certain age, will bring back so many memories of Nintendo classic fun, because RC Pro-Am is a racing game where you're on a track and you control a radio-controlled car. And it's not just any old racing radio-controlled car. You can jump. You can fire missiles against your opponents. You can hit boosters on the track to make you go faster. This is the first RC Pro-Am. I don't have RC Pro-Am 2, where it was multiplayer, which is a little difficult for the Nintendo, because basically it's not like a split screen where you're seeing it from two different perspectives. You have to share the screen. So if your friend is going way ahead of you in that race, you're just not going to see where you are. But for RC Pro-Am, this was a great game because you could level up your vehicle. It didn't have any save feature, unfortunately, so it was just kind of a one and done thing. But it did have like sort of a tournament where you would, if you played against the computer, you could level up your vehicle by earning winnings in the previous race based on how you placed and all of that good stuff. You could make your tires go faster. You could up your armaments, and it was just good old-fashioned fun. And anybody who's ever played the game knows what I'm talking about. And if you haven't played the game, go back in time and play this game. RC Pro-Am for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Now you're playing with power. RC Power. Back to you, Jacques.
How much do you think I can get that for on eBay right now?
A loose card of RC Pro-Am with label damage would probably go for, I'm going to wager, $8.
Did you look?
No.
$8, like literally, you were dead on. It's like
I won both showcases.
You won both showcases. Whoop, whoop. You have to be within $100 to win both showcases?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I hit it on the nose. So I think I'm basically the host of the prices right now.
That was on $8.10. It was $8 even on eBay. So, but once his cast comes out, I'm quite sure that it could.
It's called the Carnival Personnel Bump.
Well, is that what it is?
Yeah. All right. So that was our video. That was our retro review of the week.
God damn it! What game are you playing now with the Switch?
Mario Kart 8. It's fantastic. What a beautiful game. RC. I mean, it's basically Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It's basically the same game as was available on the Wii U, except nobody had the Wii U. So this is basically
we had the Wii U,
of course. So but you have a child, and I had the Wii U. I mean, and I bought it at launch.
But they had to get it, and honestly, They loved it. They loved Mario Kart was a big one. I went out and bought the damn steering wheel.
Ooh. Oh wait, for the Wii U.
For the Wii U.
Oh yeah, but it's just a piece of plastic. Wheel,
that's it. And literally, I took it out of the box. They used it. And it was like, then they went back to the remote control. After one try, and I'm looking at this $20 piece of plastic.
They have receipts, Where
right.
You could have taken it back.
But the problem is at the time, we bought it just before we left LA. For it's one of those things. It's like, hey, I know we're uprooting you from LA and moving to Doha, Qatar, but hey, how about you this new game system? Yeah. So if no one over there likes you, and we have to hide out in our villa the whole time because you have no friends, and it's 110 degrees, I'll buy you this new system. So it was a little hard to get to a Target from Doha,
right?
The closest one being 7,000 miles away. Yeah. But they didn't use the damn thing. But they loved Mario Kart.
And Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is basically it's all the original tracks and then all the downloadable content that was available plus additional tracks, and it's a gorgeous game. It's in 1080i and the best part is that it's now truly portable because with the Switch you can take it literally anywhere because it's essentially it's a handheld system that can also dock and become a portable system. So I know you're staring at me blankly because you don't have a Switch yet. You've seen my Switch, but
have I ever?
Hey now, but but now you can play online with people all across the world, and as you could with the other game. But I think it's just a lot easier, and it's it is more portable. It's not like you're not chained to your couch, so to speak. Even though with the Wii U, you could it was a little bit more portable. You could be 25 feet away from your console. Now that's portable power. But here you could be on if you were going to Doha tomorrow, you could and it had a Switch, you could take that with you and they could play on the plane ride the entire time.
If I was going to Doha tomorrow, I'd be as a hostage.
Yeah.
But
we can arrange that. Who is that?
So we got Squatty Potty, Dollar Shave Club, or the Switch. Which commercial on this podcast of Carnival Personnel had the most sincerity? I just don't know because we've had so many sponsors, but that's the one that had the most enthusiasm. I just don't know if we can squeeze any more commercials into this podcast, but we'll see what we can do.
Okay, here's one more commercial, and I think you're going to enjoy it.
Child World, let's take a look and see.
On sale this week, The Generals, Ideal's electronic battle game, just $23.88. Holly Hobby Bake Oven from Coleco, the electronic oven that actually bakes. Sale price $14.99. Fiddlesticks, the giant toy builder set from Knickerbocker, only $16.97. And as Peter Panda says, it's so nice to know that prices are low and shopping is friendly and fun.
Everything a toy store should be.
Wow, that was fantastic.
Squatty Potty, Dollar Shave Club, The Switch, and now our new sponsor is Child World, which I believe the panda from Child World has now gone on to South Park, where he's known as the
Sexual harassment panda.
like what a versatile career that panda has had.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And then he did a cover photo for the WWF.
See what Joe's done there.
To
See,
call,
call back. See, millennials, there used to be a thing called the WWF.
right. Well, I mean, the WWF as it exists now still exists.
Still exists, that's
Yeah,
true. And it
right.
always has.
Now it's we're the old WWF that rednecks would refer to lovingly is now the WWE.
Correct.
Yeah.
And by rednecks, you mean my wife.
Yeah. Well, you know.
Or the future president, The Rock. Which honestly, he could not do more.
You want to do? So you want to talk about? What do you have something on the agenda? We're new to this.
Yeah. I mean,
we
listen,
have,
again, we're just comedy hacks, trying to offend people. And if you're offended, good. And if you're not offended, we'll try harder. Our goal, Joe and I haven't really had like a mission statement yet. Joe started a Facebook page this week, but I think our mission statement. It's a lofty goal to get more advertisers, and we already have 4, so the check should be rolling in. The checks and cease and desist letters should be rolling in any day. Sure, are we supposed to pay these guys? Does somebody in accounting mess up?
Yeah.
But I think the most lofty goal I have for is can we over the next let's say 3 to 6 months get more women listening to our podcast than are at your average Rush concert? So if we can get 4 women, say 3 to 4 women,
yes,
then maybe. And it's not. Will they listen? Will they listen to a second one?
Yeah, probably. Will they listen to 5 seconds worth of the one that they are being forced to listen to, and then will they listen to 10, 5 more seconds?
So here is my impersonation of a woman at a Rush concert.
Thank you.
Thank you. Or here's my real impression of a woman at a Rush concert. Can we go now?
A.
Oh, I didn't say a Canadian woman. There's only 2 kinds of people from Canadian. Oh, God bless you. All right, Joe, what else do you have? Are we moving on to the parenting tip of the week?
We could.
So in every podcast so far,
Yes, this being
every
the second
podcast
right.
so far. Hey,
Right.
don't be a Republican for once. Don't bring facts into the argument.
Right, exactly.
Like
Truthiness.
Truthiness. These are our alternative facts. But so far, but this is a fact. Every podcast of Carnival Personnel has had a parenting tip of the week. And where Joe and I have 4 healthy sons between us that we know about. Yeah. And that the state hasn't taken them away yet. I think, it gives us a little credibility when it comes to doling out parenting advice.
Sure.
Last week, I believe it was pressure points. They don't leave a mark.
The more you know.
This week's parenting tip brought to you by me. I haven't run this by Joe.
Good. Plausible deniability.
NyQuil. It's not just for colds and flus anymore. Let's say you want to binge watch something on Netflix, which we'll get to our Netflix picks of the week. But let's say you want to binge watch something on Netflix, or just watch half an effing football game without being bothered. Yeah,
Preach.
NyQuil. It's not just for colds and flus. Parenting.
So now we're
Tip
getting
of
a
the
cease and desist. We're also getting a cease and desist from NyQuil, and I think the Department of Children and Families as well. Thank God they don't know what our mailing address is. So that's Jacques, not Joe's parenting tip of the week.
Hey. So speaking of Netflix and giving kids NyQuil to binge watch something, what are you watching on Netflix?
I'm watching a couple of things, although I haven't gotten to the latest Sarah Silverman comedy special, which I'm sure I'll get around to in my vast amounts of free time. And I'm not being ironic. I just say things ironically, which is probably why I don't get a lot of endorsement deals, which is a Janine Garofalo joke from way back. I swear to God, that was a Janine Garofalo. Yeah, I'm quoting a Janine Garofalo stand-up from 99. 1989 or whatever the hell the year it was. Netflix, I'm watching Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, 3rd season. Fantastic show. It's written by Tina Fey. It's very 30 Rock-esque. It takes place in New York. And if you don't know what the premise of Kimmy Schmidt is, I won't spoil too much for you, but she's essentially this Pollyanna kind of, young woman who in the 90s, as a young, is about like, I think she was a teenager, like 16 or something. She joined a very, very small religious cult. And they lived in a bunker. There were like 4 women that lived in this bunker with this reverend. He brainwashed them into thinking that the world was ending and that the world had ended, and that they could only survive in that bunker until, 2013 when Kimmy and her group were rescued. And so now she's approaching the world, and she's from like Indiana. And now she lives in New York City, and she doesn't know anything about the modern world. Like she comes from a pre-9/11 world. She sees a girl holding an iPhone, and she says, "Wow, is that a Macintosh?" And so they're in the 3rd season. And the great thing about the show is that it's so rapid fire, joke after joke after joke, very 30 Rock, right. And it's just a friggin' funny show, and they're clean. Like I think they pitched it to NBC, and NBC decided against it. So then they pitched it to Netflix. But just because they went to Netflix didn't mean that, now we can say shit and fuck and all that stuff. So it's very PG-13 or TV-14 or whatever you want to call it. But it's just very well done. They have story arcs, and they have cameos. I haven't seen this season. I haven't seen like a lot of major cameos from outside cast, outside people. But like last year, they had Martin Short come in as like this plastic surgeon who was based on like a real life guy, and he had like the prosthetics on, like of this very ultra smooth face. Anyways, I'm kind of if you don't take it on my recommendation because
it's John Hamm. Isn't it?
Yeah, John Hamm is the Reverend.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. You do not have to be a homosexual to want to make out with John Hamm.
That's what I've heard.
Okay, because I don't want this to sound gay in any way, shape, or form, but I would, without a doubt, make out with John Hamm. Secondly, you said written by Tina Fey. I'm kind of a fan of Tina Fey, but I love Liz Lemon. Like, Liz Lemon is my celebrity list. She's like all 3 or all 5 spots on the celebrity list. Not Tina Fey so much. She's okay.
Okay.
Liz Lemon, hugely. I'm hugely in love with Liz Lemon.
Great.
So John Hamm, Liz Lemon, it's worth a watch, I would say. Me, Netflix, because I'm 2 to 3 years behind. Not just because I was in Qatar where they didn't have Netflix until like the last 6 months there, but I'm trying to get caught up on all the beloved DC stuff. And just this week, Season 2 of Supergirl, Season 3 of Flash, and Season 5 of The Arrow have all been released on Netflix. So I'm halfway through Season 1 of Supergirl. I was done with Season 2 of Flash, but I've had to go back because the wife, a.k.a. management, wants to get caught. She was watching it. And then there was an Arrow crossover, so she had to get caught up on Arrow. So I had to go back in a season to watch Arrow with her, and now it's at the second crossover.
So you don't Netflix cheat?
In Qatar you could, but it was a little bit of a risky proposition. Like I'm trying to forget what you had to download on your phone to be able to see it.
No. What I mean by Netflix cheating is that like you don't, like if you and your wife are watching something, like you won't watch something ahead of her, like cheat on her by basically watching something and then like not, and then going back. And,
quick question. Have you met my wife?
Yes, I have.
The answer would be no.
Lovely person.
Because there was a show we were watching, and for a good part of like the last 3 years, like we would be separated by 2 or 3 months at a time. And I forget, I don't know, it wasn't S.H.I.E.L.D., but it was another show we were kind of watching together. And like, it was one of those things, we had been apart for like 2 or 3 months. We were going there for just a couple weeks. It was going to be another month. And I watched one episode of something. She's like, I can't believe you watched that without me. I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. But literally, it was one of those things where there was nothing else on Netflix that I hadn't seen and stuff like that. But no, so there's like, she watches a lot of stuff that I have no interest in. I watch a lot of stuff that she's not like thrilled with. So, but the shows that we do watch, we watch all the tights and cape shows together, which is great. So so it was the longest time I wanted to watch Luke Cage, but we had to. She wasn't going to watch Iron Fist, so I watched Iron Fist by myself. So I think I'm all set on Marvel.
Yep.
The Marvel Universe on Netflix. To rank them, definitely Daredevil, first season. Then Jessica Jones will come in second. Then probably Daredevil, second season, third.
Wow.
Then Luke Cage. Iron Fist was fine. I mean, it was. I didn't love it, didn't hate it. It was there. I mean, the best parts of it were the callbacks to the other shows because it's all tied in together. So I really like that. But the DC stuff. I think I liked Arrow the best. Then Flash. Supergirl's better than I thought. It's fun because they're weaving in. They're stealing from the Marvel playbook where, hey, let's see if we can make a D-list team like
Guardians of the
like
Galaxy.
Guardians make. So on Supergirl, like they've had halfway through season 1, they introduced Martian Manhunter.
Oh yeah,
He's not like he's more B-list than that, but Red Tornado, who's a C-lister, maybe.
But isn't the DC universe parallel? Like, isn't the TV universe parallel with the cinematic universe?
No, there's no connection.
That's what I mean, parallel.
Right.
That's the word parallel means.
Shut up. Shut up.
It's
You're using big words to make me feel stupid. I don't need you to be condescending to make me feel stupid. I need to wake up in the morning, realize that death hasn't given me the touch, sweet embrace that I've been longing for. Look in the mirror and think, oh, fuck, I gotta go through another day of this. I don't need to come here to take this crap. I could have stayed home, Joe. Anyways.
The more you know about Shock's pitiful existence.
NyQuil. It's not just for children, Joe. There's something I've learned from Bill Cosby.
If I could just cram in one more Netflix recommendation, and I'm staring at my recommendation actually on my shelf, my 18th shelf in my sad cave. The Real Ghostbusters. Cartoon from 1986 through 1989 or 1990 is available, I believe, in its entirety on Netflix, and it's fantastic. It's a fantastic show.
The voice, because Joe told me that about 2 months ago. I called him to see if he wanted to play Resident Evil 5 or 6 online. He's like, all right, but I'm just watching this Ghostbuster cartoon. I'm like, what Ghostbuster cartoon? I went to Netflix, and I think I watched with the boys like 4 or 5 episodes that night. It was pretty good.
It was great writing. And the original voices of the Ghostbusters were Lorenzo Music, who did Peter Venkman, which was the Bill Murray role. Then they had Maurice LaMarche, or LaMarche, I can't remember how to pronounce his name. He did the voice of Egon, but he also did the voice of the Brain and Pinky and the Brain. And then you had Frank Welker, who does a million voices. He also did the voice of Fred of Scooby-Doo fame. He did the voice of Ray, and the voice of Winston was done by Arsenio Hall, the Ernie Hudson character. Funny story about the Peter Venkman voice. So Lorenzo Music did it for the first 2 seasons. And then I think that as the lore goes with Bill Murray's stories, I guess Bill Murray made a comment to the effect of, I like the cartoon, but why does Peter sound like Garfield the cat? And I guess they didn't like that, or he didn't, or they got the idea, the producers of the show maybe got the feeling that maybe Bill Murray didn't like that. He was being voiced by the same guy who did Garfield, so Lorenzo Music was let go.
And then a few years later, what fine acting choice did our beloved Bill Murray make?
Garfield the movie.
Oh!
And Garfield, A Tale of Two Kitties.
Oh, so after the first one, the ink wasn't dry in the first check, and he said yes to the second one, which later on in Zombieland was able to reference that when
So great.
on his deathbed. Do you have any regrets? Probably Garfield.
Spoiler. Anybody who hasn't seen Zombieland.
Anybody who hasn't seen Zombieland from 7. Look, if the
Yeah, I
movie's
know.
been out for more than, let's say.
Yeah, if the movie's older than your youngest child, then
then F you.
oh, by the way, the person who replaced Lorenzo Music on the Real Ghostbusters as Peter Venkman was Dave Coulier, also known as Joey, Uncle Joey.
Really? Dude, come on. Cut it out.
DollarShaveClub.com. But no, to recap, the real Ghostbusters, not those shitty Filmation Ghostbusters, which is another rant I could go on.
Which he will someday.
yeah.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned for the-
Subscribe. Give us a like. Come back for more Ghostbuster rant.
If we do any like mini episodes, maybe we'll just have like I can do my own little like glum solo kind of thing where I just go off on a rant.
More women listening to that Ghostbuster rant than a Rush concert. Hey, before we wrap it up, not sports guys. Well, big football guy, big Bruins fan, and the LA Kings, but nothing else really. But I'll make a prediction by our next podcast. Unfortunately, Sidney Crosby will have won another cup, and because the Penguins are up 2-1, I guess they wrap that up in 6. I'm gonna say Golden State wins in 5 games over LeBron, who again, I not a basketball guy, but that's literally as close to a dream team as you can have, in basketball. Trump will still be president, but I think the Comey thing will happen. That's my predictions for the week. You got any closing thoughts?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned like predictions in sports because my older son, who's 17, I'm introducing him to Chris Farley stuff on Saturday Night Live fame. Everybody knows who Chris Farley is, Joe. You don't have to explain it. You're overselling it. So I started showing him the Bill Swirsky Superfan sketches. And I have the SNL app, which with the SNL app, you can watch virtually any skit from their 42-year history. It's downloaded. You can download it for free at the App Store, but it only works on iPhone, so you can't watch it on a TV or anything like that. But so we're hunched over my 4-inch screen. We're watching the Superfans, and it's like, what are your predictions for the next week's game? Bears 149, and Patriots -7.
So it's the Indianapolis 500. Who do you like? The Bears bus if Dick is driving.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing. Like, I didn't realize how many sketches there were. There were like 7 sketches, and all of them were friggin' gold. Except for, they're all gold, and there was one that didn't include Chris Farley for some reason, but then they explained it away that he had a heart attack.
So, Joe, wrapping up, do we thank people for listening and downloading the podcast, or do we apologize for people downloading and listening to the podcast?
Honestly, I thank each and every one of you. I know there's probably literally 20 people listening, which astounds me that 20 people are actually maybe possibly listening to us right now, let alone 21.
That
No, but
more women than a Rush concert.
Man, they just keep going to the well with that joke.
Wait, is this horse dead? Hit it one more time. Maybe he will get up if you keep hitting it.
No, not anymore. Please, it's already dead. No, but thank you to anybody who has listened, like the stupid Facebook page that we started, that downloads us on Podbean.com. You can get a Podbean app. So that you're not hunched over everybody's hunched in my analogies. So I think it's because I'm hunched over the microphone right now.
The bells.
Call it a hunch.
I thought your name was Igor.
Well, they were wrong, weren't they?
So we do. We're just a couple comedy hacks. So if you're offended by anything, good. That's kind of the goal. You got any suggestions? Keep them to your get your own fucking podcast if you want. No.
Or comment on our Facebook
Or comment
page.
on the Facebook page. And then go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
So no, here's an idea. Who said that? It's like, I got a good idea. Louis C.K. If you want to say something at the show, I got an idea. Write it down, send it in a letter to me, and then go kill yourself. No, but seriously, If you got parenting tips, we'll take them. Trust me.
Oh God, yeah. And if you have any Netflix suggestions, put them on our
if you
Facebook
want
page.
to offer like $8 for the RC Pro Racer, no, you probably would have to
Yeah.
go like $8.50 over market
Well, you have
value
to counter.
get
You have to count in shipping as well.
Well, also the hole in your heart they'd have to fill with large things of
There's
cash
not enough cement.
to make up for a game that you haven't played in years. But this is Carnival
Well,
Personnel.
and I just also one more thing. I would like to mention that the Carnival Personnel Podcast has a Twitter account. Carnival Podcast at Carnival. Harder to say than you would think. At Carnival Podcast on Twitter.
Say it one more time, Mr. Senator.
At Carnival Podcast on Twitter. Thank you. And thank you, Senator Sanders.
And one last thing, please do not forget